Born in 1959 in the segregated town of Milton, Delaware, Bryan Stevenson did not rise from privilege, but from principle. Raised by parents and grandparents who endured racism with grace, discipline, and spiritual strength, he came of age with a deep awareness that the world was neither fair nor passive in its cruelty. Yet from those roots, Stevenson built not bitterness, but resilience. He didn't just see the injustice, he chose to fight it, methodically and fearlessly. Graduating from Harvard Law School in the 1980s, Stevenson could have walked into wealth and comfort. But the Spartan path is rarely paved with ease. Instead, he ventured to Alabama, a land soaked with the blood of lynchings and haunted by the legal machinery of Jim Crow. There, he founded the Equal Justice Initiative, EJI, a legal nonprofit dedicated to defending the most despised and discarded members of society, death row inmates, wrongly convicted prisoners, poor juveniles tried as adults. His work was not glamorous. He wasn't on magazine covers or invited to high society galas. He sat across from men society had written off. He faced threats, was arrested, was ignored by the media, and was demeaned by those in power. But like any warrior of Spartan resolve, Stevenson understood that dignity and discipline must be maintained even in the mud, especially in the mud. His landmark case came with Walter McMillian, a black man falsely accused and sentenced to death for the murder of a white woman in Monroeville, Alabama, the same town where Harper Lee wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. The irony was thick, but the stakes were real. Stevenson's exhaustive legal work, relentless investigation, and refusal to surrender led to McMillian's exoneration after 6 years on death row. But this wasn't a singular victory. It was a glimpse into a broken system. Stevenson would go on to win reversals, releases, and reduced sentences for over 140 wrongly convicted or unfairly sentenced individuals. What sets him apart is not merely his legal acumen, it is his moral clarity. He believes that each person is more than the worst thing they've ever done. In a world increasingly driven by vengeance disguised as justice, Stevenson holds firm to the principle of mercy, not as weakness, but as strength. In Just Mercy, his best-selling memoir, he lays bare not only the cases but the cost, the emotional, psychological, and spiritual toll of fighting a system designed to dehumanize. He does not retreat into abstractions. He goes where the pain is. He created the National Memorial for Peace and Justice in Montgomery, a stark monument to the victims of lynching in America. It stands not as a monument of guilt, but of memory, a public reckoning with the past that informs the present. No Spartan ever fought without knowing the terrain. Stevenson forces America to look at its terrain and to own it. His work with juveniles, children as young as 13 sentenced to life without parole, demonstrates his unyielding belief in redemption. He took cases to the Supreme Court and won, forcing the nation to confront its willingness to bury children alive in prison. The victories came not through rage or theatrics, but by perseverance, precision, and moral force. The Spartan warrior moves with clarity. So does Stevenson. Yet through all this, he remains humble. He does not put himself at the center of the story. His organization is structured to continue the mission without celebrity, without ego. He is not interested in creating a legacy for himself, but in tearing down legacies of racial terror, legal neglect, and cultural amnesia. This is the mark of true strength, wielding power without being seduced by it. Stevenson does not romanticize suffering. He doesn't preach grit for its own sake. What he embodies is the hard truth, that justice requires sacrifice, that hope is a discipline, and that if you want to change the world, you must first be willing to stand alone, often in silence, often in danger, with no applause. In an era where outrage is easy and solutions are rare, Stevenson is a reminder of what action really looks like. Long hours, sleepless nights, conversations condemned men, courtroom defeats, and slow victories. He trains his mind and spirit to endure, not because he expects to win every time, but because the act of resisting itself is sacred. Bryan Stevenson does not wear armor, but he carries scars. He does not lead armies, but he confronts power. He does not seek vengeance, but he refuses to turn away from pain. His mission is justice, his weapon is mercy, and his resolve is unshakable. Order the Spartan Mindset today and embark on your journey toward becoming the leader your world needs. Let your struggles forge you into a warrior of character and resolve. The Spartan Mindset provides a comprehensive and actionable guide to personal development and resilience. Available now for just $19.99. Purchase your copy from the links in the description box below and on this channel's homepage. Because your future begins with the right mindset. The Spartan Mindset.